If you are someone who really struggles to talk off the cuff and you like to have a script that you're following, you can record yourself, you can look at that script and you can look like to the left-hand side of the screen, and then you can click a button and it's going to move your eye line straight into the camera. So no one will ever know that you are actually looking at your script because it's going to move your eyeballs. How nuts is that? That literally blows my mind that my eyeballs can be moved and I can be looking in a completely different direction. I hope you're good. I'm so excited to bring you this episode today because I want to talk to you about AI today. And whenever I've heard other podcasts on AI or wherever I've listened to people talking about AI, for some reason I've had a total block with it. Like, I felt like it's coming and I'm like, oh God, I feel like I need to get on board this AI thing, and it feels like this massive thing that I need to learn, and in my head I'm like, I just haven't got the time for it. I know it's taken me ages to do my stuff, but I just haven't got the time to learn something new. And gradually what I've been doing over the last few months, instead of thinking I need to implement AI into absolutely every single aspect of my business, I've been thinking, let me just see where I can swap out a couple of things. Like, let me see where I can look at the elements of my business that take up a lot of time and a lot of energy, and personally that I don't like doing, and see if I could use AI as a replacement to speed that thing up. And when it comes to AI, people can be really scared of it. And I know a lot of people are quite anti it and thinking it's such a bad thing that's coming and robots are going to replace us and they're going to take over and they're smarter than us. And putting that aside, like, you know, there's so much fear mongering around it. There's so many people saying that it's literally going to be like the end of the world. Whether that's true or not, I don't know enough about that right now. But I do know that there are some tools out there right now that are really easy to implement in your business that can make you so much more productive. Now, if you've been around for a while, you know that everything I'm so passionate about is leveraging your time and earning more while working less. So this is why I've been on a real mission to just be as productive as possible and see where I can put in a couple of tweaks, a couple of hacks to just change the way I work and get a lot done in a lot less time. And that is what I want to share with you today. So I've actually got 4 platforms that I've been using which have made a massive difference in how I run my coaching business. I'm pretty much a one-man band, so I do have a VA and she does some like admin stuff for me and a few techie bits. I have a social media manager, she does my social media posts. I still do some of the creating like the podcast clips and things like that. I'm actually fully in control of my podcast, so I edit all of that and do all of that myself. And what comes with that is some kind of, you know, nitty-gritty tasks which take a lot of time and don't necessarily need my skills. So that was one of the first areas that I looked at and how I can, you know, bring AI in to speed up that process. So let's get down to it. Let's get down to my first platform that I use, which has made a massive difference. We cannot talk about AI without talking about ChatGPT. So ChatGPT, if you haven't had a play around with it already, it's completely free. You can create an account and basically you can ask it to do anything pretty much. Like, it is really, really smart. Now, when I first came across ChatGPT, I was playing around with it and I was saying, write me a social media post for this, and I would describe what it was. And first of all, the caption would come out and I'd be like, no, I wouldn't really say it like that. I don't really like that. And I was kind of thinking, why is everyone so excited about this ChatGPT thing? Because, you know, what I get is just like, I can't really use it. It doesn't really feel like me. But then I realised that you can keep going back and forth with ChatGPT as if it's an actual person and say, hey, can you make it a little bit friendlier? Can you make this more geared towards, you know, my female audience? And I quickly realised that when it comes to ChatGPT, the more you ask it and the more you feed it, the better results you get. It's kind of like a person. Like with me, the more you feed me, the happier I'm going to be. You're going to get a much better response from me if I've had a big bowl of Cocoa Pops in the morning. So it's like that. It's just like feed the machine and you're going to get the good stuff out. So One thing I've been doing with ChatGPT, which I absolutely love, and has been a total game changer for me, is with my email sequences. So recently I did a flash sale, and I decided that over the course of 5 days, I wanted to promote one of my products. And I wanted it to go out to my email list, and so I wanted to have an email going out every single day and then 3 emails on the last day. So that's 8 emails that I wanted to go out. Now obviously sitting and writing 8 emails is going to take a long time. You know, it's going to take a while to do it. You kind of want to say the same thing in all of them, but you want them to be a little bit different. You want them to have a different hook. And so I learned a little hack which has helped massively. So I write the first email myself. I sit down and I write it all out myself in my exact tone of voice to the ideal client that I want to send it to, and it's perfect. It's exactly how I would write all of my emails. And then I copy and paste that entire email, put that into ChatGPT, and I say, hey, can you write me 5 more emails exactly like this, promoting my product, the Made for More membership, which is a 12-month coaching program. These emails are going to be sent over the course of 5 days, and on the last 3 days it's going to count down to the cart closing. Enter. So I literally click search and all of these emails come out exactly as I said. I gave some really clear and specific directions then. I said I wanted it to be like my first email, so I gave it some good stuff, I gave it some good food, but also I said how many I want to go out each day, the fact that I'm having 3 on the last day, the fact that I want to create that urgency and count down to my cart close. I said a little bit about what my product was. So I realised that if you actually put the time in and really feed it a lot of information, you're going to get much better results out. Now, obviously I had to tweak a couple of the things in the emails, and some things that it said I probably wouldn't word in that exact same way, but the whole skeleton of it was done literally in like 4 minutes. So I'd written 8 emails in 4 minutes, and it was just so much quicker, and they were written really, really well. They're written, you know, essentially by a copywriter. So that's a really powerful way that I've speed up my copywriting and my email writing and building out my email sequences. So if you have been sitting on a lead magnet for a while, I know so many people in my community have been sitting on their lead magnet and they're like, oh God, I know I need to get it out, but I'm not getting it out. And maybe the email aspect of it is freaking you out. Then write your first email and then put it into ChatGPT and see what it comes up with, and then add to that. Maybe on email 2 you want to add a little bit more value. Maybe on email 3 you want to share a personal story about yourself. So have that skeleton built out by ChatGPT and then add in the extra bits, the extra human aspects that you want to add in, and that is going to speed up the process so much. I also use this for really smart, catchy hooks as well. So if I want, for example, a YouTube thumbnail title, and I want a really catchy thumbnail title, or I want a really catchy headline, then I will actually take my podcast clip or my YouTube video, whatever it is that I'm doing, I transcribe it in Descript, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. I transcribe that whole episode, copy and paste that whole transcription, put it into ChatGPT, and I say, hey, can you write me 10 really catchy hooks for my YouTube videos for this episode? And it will come up with 10 options. And I may not like a whole one, but I might think, oh, I quite like the beginning bit of number 2 and I quite like the end bit of number 8, and then you can create your own catchy hook. And I promise you, those headlines and those hooks always work so much better than if I try and come up with them myself, because they're based on what's actually out there and what's actually working at the moment. So that's another way that I use ChatGPT. Another way that I use ChatGPT, this is crazy to be honest, but I was putting together a new funnel recently and I needed to have a privacy policy. So for anyone who doesn't know, when you're in a coaching business, if you're selling any kind of digital products, on your website you need to have a privacy policy, and you also need to have a terms and conditions where you're saying how you're going to use their data and how you're going to store it, but also the terms and conditions of the payment plans, what they're getting, what they're signing into. Those 2 documents are really, really important, kind of like a user agreement. Now you can actually go onto ChatGPT, and this is what I did the other day. I went to ChatGPT, I said, hey, can you write me, I always say hey, I talk to it like it's a real person, and I always say please and thank you. I don't know why, but I just think if I'm polite then maybe it will give me some better stuff. So I'm like, hello, please could you write me this? I don't know, it feels nice to be polite. So I went to ChatGPT and I said, hello, please can you write me a privacy policy for my website? My company is called Made for More Coaching. I coach female entrepreneurs and I sell digital products based around this kind of value. And it just whipped me up a privacy policy. I didn't need to go to a legal company. I didn't need to do that. I literally copy and pasted that, made sure that all the details were right, and then I uploaded that into the privacy policy onto my website. So, I mean, there's probably lawyers that are absolutely banging their head right now at the fact that I've just said that, but I know a lot of people that do it that way, and and it was perfect. Another little thing, this is not to do with my coaching business, but I want to share a little story. This is when we first came across ChatGPT. So my partner owns a hair salon, and there is a road outside that salon where you can park down there. So all of his clients park down that road. And then he got a letter from the council to say that they're going to be putting double yellow lines down that road so no one can park there, which means that there's literally no parking for his salon at all. And you don't want to be having your hair done. Obviously we live in England, so it's raining 90% of the time. You don't want to be having your hair done and then walking miles to your car. So this was not good. You know, Kurt was thinking, this is terrible for business. I can't get rid of this parking. And so he went to ChatGPT and he said, hello, please can you write up a legal response as to why the council cannot put double yellow lines outside the road of my salon because it will affect my business and blah, 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 blah. He put in all the details of, you know, what the road was, what the council was, what his business was, clicked search, and ChatGPT came up with a full legal document that was like, if you refer to clause blah, blah, blah in the council highway code or whatever it is, I don't even know the words to it, hence why I didn't write it, you will see in clause blah 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 this is not permissible. And it was literally like this whole amazing document arguing the fact that they shouldn't put double yellow lines down that road, and they haven't put double yellow lines down that road. How epic is that? So ChatGPT is my friend. I do ask it loads of questions. To be honest, I kind of ask loads of questions that I would ask Google now. Google Barge is another one as well that's very, very similar to ChatGPT, so I tend to flip between the two. But yeah, for my email sequences, I use it all the time. I also use it for, as I said, the privacy policy, terms and conditions. I also use it for inspiration. You know, as I said about the hooks and the catchy titles, if something's just not coming to me, even if it's a lead magnet and you're thinking, you want to write in there and say, come up with a catchy title for a free guide about menopause for women in their 50s. Just see what it comes up with and see how it sparks inspiration. And so I think instead of thinking of AI as something that's going to replace what you do, I actually just like to think of it as something that ignites what I do. We're not always feeling mega creative, and so what I do is that I start with AI, I start with ChatGPT, I light that fire underneath what I'm doing, and then I add on top of it. And it means that I can just get out of that procrastination phase and I can get into work really, really quickly. So ChatGPT has been a major, major game changer for me. Another one is with Kajabi. Obviously, you know that I love Kajabi. I build all of my business on there. It's my course builder platform. It's my website. It's my funnel builder. Literally everything is on Kajabi. And something that I love that they are doing right now, not necessarily for me because I've got a lot of courses built out, but for my students, you can actually have your entire course outline built in Kajabi using AI. So when you join Kajabi, you can go into there and you can say, come up with a course outline for baking gluten-free muffins. My ideal client is blah, blah, blah. This is going to be a 5-module program. You know, again, feed it some good information, see what it comes up with, and then it will literally write out an entire course outline and say, amazing. Module 1, you will do introduction. Module 2, getting to know gluten-free. Module 3, obviously I don't know what I would put in a gluten-free baking course, and it will literally lay out, and then it will do the modules and it will show you exactly what each lesson should be as well. So there is really no excuse right now for not putting a course out there. If you've got an idea of what you would like to do something about, but you have no idea how that even looks, in terms of modules and lessons and how to structure that to actually deliver a result, then joining something like Kajabi is amazing, because you can literally jump on there, type it all in, and it's going to come up with it literally in a second. And again, you use that to ignite the fire underneath you, and then you build on from there, which is epic. So if you do want to try Kajabi, as you know, I'm an affiliate for it. I absolutely love it, and I recommend it to everyone. You can just go to carlymeyers.com/Kajabi. You can get a 30-day trial, and you can have a play about with it. Even if you just want to try that 30-day trial to see what it comes up with in the course builder, you know, have a little play about, see what it comes up with, and see how you can start this journey of your digital course. So that is number 2. Number 3 is Descript. Now, I've been talking about Descript a lot recently because I have well and truly fallen in love with this platform and all it has enabled me to do. So Descript is basically, I think it started out as a video editing software where you can just upload your video and you can edit it and things like that. But now it's really embraced AI, and it is an incredible tool for so many different things. So when I said before about taking the transcription of a video that I've recorded and putting it into ChatGPT, that is through Descript. So I record all of my podcasts, all of my YouTube videos, all of my course content, absolutely everything in Descript. There's just a button at the top of my screen. I click go live, and then I literally record. I'm recording this in Descript right now. So you can record in Descript, you can share your screen and do all of that. And then once it's uploaded onto the platform, it will automatically transcribe all of it. So it writes out all of the words that you've just said. And it's actually really, really accurate. I've tried a lot of these things before and it's not particularly accurate, but this is really good. And then you can edit it just like a Word document. So you can actually go through the script. If you don't know about sound bars with traditional video editing, you can literally edit it as if it is a Word document. So you can highlight some words, you can delete them. It will automatically detect any filler words, so things like ums and ahs and any long pauses. You literally just select a button that says highlight filler words, and then you can delete them all literally in one quick button. So it's so quick to edit. But also you can add in things as well. So say for example you've said a word wrong, or you said something different and you should have said something else. You can actually highlight that word, correct it, so type in the word that you want it to say, and it's going to take your voice and your image that it has on the video and change that word. So it recognizes your voice and it will actually put that new word in it in your voice, which is epic. So you don't have to go in and re-record this stuff all the time. You can literally change the text and it's going to put your voice on it, which is fab. Another thing it does, which I love, is this actually weirds me out a little bit, but it's crazy. So I recorded a video and I was just off center a little bit. Like I wasn't looking at the camera and I was kind of like looking across because I was reading some of my notes. And what it does is you can highlight all of the text and you can actually align your eye line, which means that it will move your eyes to face the camera. So if you are someone who really struggles to talk off the cuff, you know, you like to have a script, especially if you're recording like an advert or something like that, and you like to have a script that you're following, you can record yourself, you can look at that script and you can look like to the left hand side of the screen, and then you can click a button and it's going to move your eye line straight into the camera. So no one will ever know that you are actually looking at your script because it's going to move your eyeballs. How nuts is that? That literally blows my mind that my eyeballs can be moved and I can be looking in a completely different direction. And it doesn't actually look weird either. I thought I might look a bit googly-eyed, but it's perfect. So Descript is a massive game changer. You can also, if you've seen my podcast clips that I put on my Instagram, I do them as reels, that comes straight from my clip in my podcast. So I have my whole document, I have my whole podcast video or YouTube video. I can then highlight a section of that and click duplicate to a new composition, which basically means take this clip and create a new one. and it will just literally swap it out and put it into a new clip. So then I can just have that little section as a little podcast clip, and I can do whatever I want with that. You can add GIFs, you can add sounds, you can add so much different stuff, you can add subtitles. So Descript right now is probably where I'm spending 90% of my time, because as I said, I'm doing all of my podcast editing myself and my YouTube editing and all of that stuff, and I'm really, really, really enjoying it. It does not feel like a chore at all because I can do it so quickly. I feel really in control of the content that's going out there, which is really important to me. And yeah, Descript is major. So get on board with that. That is a really smart way of integrating AI. And then lastly, the other way that I'm integrating AI is with Buzzsprout. So Buzzsprout is where I host my podcast. I do actually have a private podcast as well, which is part of my coaching program, Freedom Accelerator. And that is hosted on Kajabi, but I just always had my Made for More podcast on Buzzsprout, and I've just kept it over there. And Buzzsprout has also brought out a new AI feature where you can upload the episode and then it will automatically write a description for you. You just have to turn it on. You have to pay a little bit more for it, but you turn it on and then it will write a whole description about that episode, what you covered and when. It will also break down that episode into chapters, so someone can scroll along and be like, oh, okay, I want to get to the bit where she talks about this, and it will show where those things are. And it will also come up with some catchy headlines as well. I don't always love the headlines it comes up with, but as I said, it just really serves as a great piece of inspiration to get me going. So that has also been a major thing. So I hate writing my podcast episode. It really annoys me. It just feels like a waste of time, and I always seem to get a bit of a creative block with it. But that's been a massive, massive game changer, and just has freed up so much of my time, because then I can take what it's described in there, I can then use that as the description in my YouTube. I then also, just as a side note, this is another part of my podcasting process that I do. I take the transcription, so everything that's been written out of my podcast episode, I take that whole transcription, I add it into a blog on my website, and that really boosts the SEO of my website. So I'm not creating new content, I'm not really writing a blog post, I'm taking this same core thing, this same core podcast, transcribing it, putting it into a blog post, and that is serving as more content and more text content on my website. Because I went to a training recently with Neil Patel, and he's like the king of SEO and Google and all of that, and he spoke so much about how you can boost the SEO on your website by adding text. He said even if you have like your core course modules and you basically write out all of the training in text form and you upload that to your website as like a blog post or something like that, he said your SEO is going to skyrocket. So some people like to view things in different ways. It's not like someone's not going to buy your course because they've just read that blog, but you're just going to be delivering massive, massive value and boosting your SEO at the same time, which means that when someone searches on Google, it's very likely that your stuff is going to come up. So that was a little side note, nothing to do with AI, but that's a little process that I do and how I convert this podcast episode into lots of things. So from one podcast episode, I get a blog post, I get a YouTube clip, I get IG Reels, I get YouTube Shorts, and I am boosting my SEO as well, which is fab. And then I also get some emails out of that as well and some more social media posts. So amazing. So that is my little short and sharp intro into AI. I don't want you to get freaked out by AI, and I don't want you to think that you have to sit and spend hours learning it. Just think about how you can start to make some tweaks that will speed up what you're already doing. And I definitely think email marketing is king. You have to be building your email list, getting some emails out, nurturing your email list all the time. You know, you want to be sending multiple emails per week. If you're not currently sending one email per week, then you're massively missing out. So I really, really encourage you, especially with the tools that we have now, there's no excuse not to do it. It's all free. Get your lead magnet out. build out your nurture sequence and start getting emails out once or twice a week. They don't have to be long emails. If you read some of my emails, they're not long. But whenever I create a new piece of content, whether it's a podcast or a YouTube video or I have a free training, I always send that out to my email list and let them know that there's new content out there just in case they miss it. So it's a really great way of, keeping on top of email marketing, because as I said, email marketing is absolute king. So as a recap, ChatGPT is your best friend. Just feed it some real good stuff and you're going to get amazing things out of there. If you need inspiration, if you're struggling to activate your creative brain, if you're just procrastinating and thinking, oh God, I don't even know where to start, ask it, see what it comes up with. Just ask it anything. I'm asking it all sorts of questions all the time. And if you are polite, I do believe that it does work better. So ChatGPT is your friend. Kajabi for creating your course outline and figuring out exactly what that looks like is amazing. Number 3, Descript. Oh, I could literally go on and on and on about Descript. I'm going to put a code below where you can get a free trial because it is such a game changer. And as I said, I'm using it 90% of the time at the moment. And then lastly is Buzzsprout. If you do have a podcast, if it's on Buzzsprout, if you don't have Buzzsprout, your podcast platform doesn't do something like that, again, all you need to do is transcribe your podcast episode, put it into ChatGPT and say, can you write me a description for this? Can you write me a catchy title for this podcast? Can you write me an email promoting this podcast episode to my email list? Do you know what I mean? It's so simple and it is such a game changer. So I hope you found that helpful. If you've got any AI hacks that you are loving, that you think I need to know about, definitely slide into my DMs and let me know, because I always love to hear about them. And don't be afraid of it. The people who are going to completely skyrocket their business, the people that are going to have the biggest success, are the ones that lean into AI. Don't resist it. Don't fear it. AI is amazing when we work together with it. When you use AI to enhance your own skills, not to replace you, but to enhance what you already have, that is the sweet spot with AI, and that's where you're going to be able to create absolute magic. So, thank you so much. I hope you found that helpful, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.